Coming up next on the Jeff Crilley Show, you're going to meet some of the driving forces behind a revolutionary film company. I'll explain next.
Many are predicting that the worst is yet to come, which is unfortunate, said one person here. Until now, they've enjoyed the reputation of being the nation's icebox.
Watched a burglar in his home this morning by webcam.
As a journalist of over 25 years, stories are what make my world turn.
Reporting live from the Dallas newsroom tonight, Jeff Crilley, Fox 4 News.
But in 2008, I took the jump from my familiar life and started a PR firm from my home.
We're talking about anyone with a camcorder like the one I'm using becomes a television network.
We started slowly growing the company, and we now have over 100 clients, and we've branched into the world of live digital broadcasting. I now own 8 different TV studios and have a huge team, and the stories that I now get to share are sometimes the most important of my life. Life has a funny way of coming around full circle. This is the Jeff Crilley Show.
The film industry has been around for 100 years, but it keeps changing, and they keep coming up with new techniques and new ways to make films. And my next guests have created a very affordable way to make very high quality films. The folks from Aeon Imagery are in the studio. On my right here is Carl Weyant. He's the CEO. Josh Lopez to his right. And then at the far side is there Nick Rice. He's a producer of an amazing film that's about to come out. It's called 426. And I think let's start with you, Nick. Tell us about 426.
426 is we call it a supernatural thriller. Can I say this? I'm going to say it anyway. We tried to label it as a Christian horror flick when we realized those two words don't go together. So supernatural thriller is about spiritual warfare inside the marriage.
And 426 refers to?
Ephesians 4:26. Do not let the sun go down on your wrath.
Outstanding. And how far along in the film are you now?
We are currently about, I would say, 80% the way through post-production, if I had to, but Carl can say more to that. It's almost there.
Sure. So. And I want, let's bring you in, Carl. So you're the CEO. You guys have found out a proprietary way to make films at a reduced cost. It's just a fraction of what you would pay in Hollywood.
Right. Correct.
Without giving away any confidential information, how do you do it?
Sure. So it's a 3-pillared system. You know, obviously we've been in the industry for many, many years. I myself, a little over 21 years now at this point. So it's a combination of just experience, the right personnel, the right team. We have an incredible team of individuals. We have a phenomenal studio with all of the equipment, you know, the state of the art of equipment. And then, but what's proprietary is we've built these AI language models within the structure of the company so that we can integrate these language models into the workflow, into our pre-production, post-production processes, which just allows us to go from script to screen in like about half the time or less.
That's amazing. I mean, does your industry know about you guys yet? Do they know that you're producing films for a fraction of the cost?
Starting to find out. And they're knocking on the door. Yeah. They're starting to find out because AI is out there. Everybody's using it, right? But what we're doing is we've brought a toolkit together. So it's like, no matter what role you are in the production, there is a model for you, right? Yes. Whereas if you were independent, you're going to go out trying to look for the best. We have everything already in-house, and it's just constantly being tweaked and worked on.
Sure. Josh, you're the COO. You have to be very proud of your team.
Yeah, absolutely, 100%. I mean, it's being in the industry for quite some time. I'm going on 27 years in this industry, and it constantly is evolving. And so with this, it's, with a new technology that is, it's been around, it's just recently become a buzzword. It's become very popular, but it's something that we've already been working with prior to that. So we've kind of had a little head start with it, and it's been very, very dynamic to just start building these proof of concepts of how that works, and seeing it work before our eyes, and realizing how effective it truly is, because it really is giving us a superpower.
Sure.
To not just come out with a movie, but now we can do a movie even faster than what it takes to typically get from script to screen, and we can do it for a fraction of the cost without diluting any kind of quality. It looks fantastic, and you can't even tell what we paid for it.
When you show other people in your industry the trailer for 426, are they blown away when you tell them how much it costs?
Yeah, they don't believe us. They think we're lying.
Yeah. I mean, to the point where our distributor, we can't say the name just yet, but massive distributor. I mean, first call, boom, they were in. When they found out the budget, because they're just thinking, what are the margins here, the profit margins, right? And so he almost fell off his chair.
Wow.
He was like, I want to sign now.
And let's talk about why that's such a game changer in your industry, because if you look at the old Hollywood model, they have to bring home a certain amount of money from the box office, even just to break even,
Absolutely.
right?
Absolutely.
So how do you see this changing your industry?
Well, mitigating risk. Because at the end of the day, an investor is looking to put their money, they want at least to get their principal back. Like that's a good day, right?
Sure.
If it makes money from there, wonderful, great. But what we were able to do is now we're able, because film, everyone knows, was always very risky because it takes millions upon millions of dollars to execute, right? And then you're hoping people are going to go see it. But now if you can take that quality, create it think of it as a fix or flip, right? In real estate.
Yeah.
Buy a house, throw some money at it, flip it. We figured out the way to do that in film. The only difference is the quality. We do not dilute the quality.
I love that. So it's not like a McDonald's just kind of churning out burgers. You're doing filet mignon at a McDonald's price.
Correct. Yeah.
That is a perfect example.
That really is.
Yeah. And it mitigates so much risk for our investors is, with these type of budgets, that it only takes a certain amount for us to break even, which is very low on our end, and everything else after that is pure profit. And so that's very attractive to any investors who are familiar with these type of what what they can bring in, because you're not talking just box office numbers, but now you're talking of streaming numbers. You're talking about for the longevity of the film, it can go as long as it could really catch fire.
Nick, let's bring you back into the conversation. And as we're talking to you, we're going to show some of the trailer from the 426 film. This is a labor of love for you, isn't it?
It is. It's based off of a true story. About 70% of the movie is based off of stuff that's happened in my failed marriage. Now, it's a lot better story than what happened in my life, because we did put some cinematic flair to it, but we also integrated 2 other stories into it. So it is a true story, but it's kind of the merging of 3 different a compilation of 3 different couples and what they've went through.
And you've been on my show before, Nick, and you were telling me that one of your drivers is you like to make faith-based films, but you don't want the cheesy.
Right. And we all share that desire to make quality faith-based, but also we want to make the kind of faith-based films that are going to be gritty, because we want to show the grittier side of a walk with Christ, and not only that, but also the spiritual warfare side.
Yes.
Sure. While we're talking about projects, what kind of projects do you like to take on, and how do you know when you have a winning script?
That's a great question. Well, we have a slate of projects. They get submitted by various people. A lot of the times it's in-house, so we come up with an idea and we'll just go ahead and just write it. Other times we'll read it and we're just like, we just know. It's something, again, this comes down to the spirit. You just feel it in your heart, and we just go, and then God does the rest, right? He just takes care of everything that's needed. But yeah, it's a little bit of a process, just depending on those factors.
Josh, you guys have veterans on your film. I mean, these people are just not newbies to the business.
Yeah, it's really exciting because we do have a lot of actors, and of course our team is been around for a long time. But we have, along with our production team, we've partnered with people that have been shunned or ostracized by Hollywood because of they retweeted something 5 years ago,
right.
And so now it's those people are coming back. So we have partnerships. We have for instance, Stacey Dash, who made a name for herself on the Clueless movie. We're partnered with her in a script that she's writing right now with one of our team members.
Nice. That's
going to blow your mind. She has some very deep insight into Hollywood and a lot of stuff that she's experienced. And so we're creating an amazing project with her. And we're just utilizing, those people who God's bringing to us, we believe, to share stories that are really going to impact our culture, because media impacts culture. And what we're doing is we're bringing that to light in a big sense with really amazing stories, but we're showing something that a lot of people may not be aware of. And that is kind of what we believe is the spiritual battle around us constantly that we just may not see within human, as a human form.
Well, you guys have a conglomerate of interests. So let's talk about Kalingo TV.
Yeah.
Why don't you start?
Sure. So our CFO of our company is Guyanese, and a few years back, he just put a little tickle in our ear. Says, that Guyana is going to become the richest country in the world. in a few years because they struck oil. And so now you've got a third world country who has all this money coming to them, but there's no infrastructure. So we decided as a collective company, because we're a film finance technology company and we like creating financial vehicles for individuals in various facets of industry, we decided to build that infrastructure there. And so we created this app, which we're partnered with the president of the country, vice president, the prime minister of sports. What we've been able to do to that country is now putting them on the map. And now they've got that infrastructure and it's growing. And so we're expanding it now because there's a big diaspora. So there's a lot of Guyanese individuals throughout the whole entire world. So we decided to open it up even further. So instead of it just being Guyana, Caribbean, now it's expanding into South America, Europe, so on and so forth.
Wow, that's very impressive.
And we can self-distribute our own films through that in the world market. So we own 100% of the revenues there.
It completely changed the country, didn't it?
Completely.
Wow. Yeah. Well, you guys are all three visionaries. We've got just a couple minutes left, so I want you each to kind of give a final thought. Why don't we start with you?
Okay. Well, definitely excited for what God's doing in this season of our lives. And I really believe that, the country spoke. The world has spoken, and I think people are ready for the type of content that's going to transform hearts and minds. And I feel that truly people are being called right now to do something. And as Josh was saying, the media influences the culture. When we take a look at our culture and see how broken it is, it's because the media has been influencing that culture for a very long time. Yes. And so we have a heart and the motive and the why behind our heart. Money's great, all that stuff's great, but at the end of the day, it's about what we're going to leave behind. I have 3 young daughters, and I think about their future. And I'm like, what can daddy do for them? What can we do for the next generation? And that's where we found ourselves here. So
beautiful
to be part of it.
Josh?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I'm a father to 5 boys, and so I have the same desire. I left Hollywood for a specific reason, and for some reason I keep being brought back into this industry, and I believe it's really a calling so that we can create some amazing content and possibilities, not just for my kids, but now we're reaching into Guyana, into other countries with building out their infrastructure of media, so they have something that we've built specifically for a whole culture. And so that really is the drive and motivation for what we do.
Outstanding. Nick will give you the final word.
Christ is king.
Beautiful.
That's all I got.
That's a great way to leave the show. We're also going to leave you with their website. We'll put that on the screen. And thank you guys. Thank you for what you're doing, and thank you for not hiding your faith under a bushel.
Absolutely. Thank you. Thanks for having us on your show.
So thank you.
It was a pleasure.
That's it for now. We'll see you next time.